Well, I mean that just goes to show
Lazy
how
boy.
brain dead the Trump followers are.
Honestly,
They're
right?
like, Trump said something, I'm gonna go ahead and follow it.
He did. He is
I-
almighty.
Bernie said something, I'm gonna go ahead and follow it. Yeah,
Pretty much. Same thing.
You're
Ever all the
you're
way
saying
around.
Same
it's
thing.
both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, like me and Scrub were talking. It was the same fucking dipshit from the same coin, like same side or two sides to the same coin.
That's
Pretty
why I
much,
hate
pretty much.
politics. I don't know if you know this, but when George Washington was dying and he was the first president, he said, "I don't want."
You
there
had to
be
clarify
any-"
that he's the first president. Do you think we're that stupid?
Some people watching this might be.
Granted, there are some people out there that don't.
I mean,
know who George
there are
Washington
those
is.
videos
true.
where they're fucking clowning on Americans, where they're
But George
uneducated.
Washington
Yeah,
literally
idiots.
said, I think it was as he was dying, he said, "I don't want there to be any political parties. I don't want the American people to divide." And
And
literally, like the second he fucking died, they went,
We're making two parties,
"We're
bitches.
making parties. Let's go."
No. That was what was it? The Republican Party was made in the 1830s. Or no. Because it was the Confederacy in the North, and then the Confederacy turned into the Democratic Party, and then the North turned into the Republicans after the Civil War. That's what happened.
I don't know. I gotta dig in my brain of knowledge for history.
That's why I hate politics.
That's actually what
because
happened.
Literally, George Washington was like, "Don't do parties, guys. It's gonna fuck up everything." And everybody was like, "Let's make parties, guys." Like,
Parties are fun.
I'm here to party, bro. You got bitches in that party? Let's up, bro.
Bro, hold up.
I couldn't get to the liquor store. It was too late, Gravy.
I can be
oh,
here,
I'm drinking
bitch.
cherry vanilla Coke.
You want
Yeah.
bitches?
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Hold up, I got you.
save you.
Ghost is about to make
I
himself into a
got
bitch.
you.
He looks like a
I
prison
got
bitch.
you.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, guys?
Ghost is
what's up?
Hey,
getting
Scrub.
weird
Yeah, his grandma's watching everything. Well, how's it going, Grandma? I don't think Scrub saw.
Okay.
Love you, Grandma.
You didn't see what I did you?
No, she told me what you were doing. Tell her
Yeah,
you guys
I
are
just-
like,
I-
oh
I
hi
wanted to
grandma,
bring-
it's my mother.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so sorry,
don't
brother.
tell her
wanted
we
to-
said that.
I wanted to bring that.
She's old enough to be a
to
grandmother.
attention. Like, I wanted to bring that up because it's just like, fucking wow, right?
This is what my screen's gonna be. There you go. I'm just gonna sit here like this for a while.
Wait,
Mine's backwards because I'm wearing it.
I don't have a flag because fucking Jersey
It's not
won't send me
backwards.
one,
It's not
Oh, is
backwards.
Did you get your
Shade.
sweatshirt?
Even- even though he can afford one.
Right. It works the same way that like FaceTime works. So when you FaceTime
Oh, okay.
someone, it looks like a mirror
Gotcha.
for you, so it's easier
Gotcha.
for you to understand, but it
It's the
looks
camera.
But,
It's the camera.
it's just it goes to show how stupid humanity can be.
People are pretty
But,
stupid nowadays.
I
man.
say natural selection, dude. Let
Natural
them do what they're
selection,
doing.
right?
We were
That's
talking. Me and
natural.
Amanda were talking today that she was saying a lot of the pollution went down and all over the place. Like a lot of fish are returning to rivers overseas and shit, and dolphin are coming back up to shore. And I've always thought of natural disasters and shit like this, like Mother Nature trying to right the ship a little bit. You know, Mother Nature
remember-
said, "You guys want to pollute, motherfuckers? I'm gonna keep you from working."
Pulls
I
out dick.
remember hearing in Italy in Venice, the dolphins were starting to swim through the canals.
Yeah, because they're not dumping all their garbage in there now.
Yeah.
Because they're not working.
I mean, it's Mother Nature of
built on the
keeping
canals.
Mother Nature's way of keeping balance.
Yeah.
Whether it be hurricane, tornado, or pandemic.
Yeah, we're just not respecting it. We're not seeing it as shit.
Or God's dick just smacking you in the fucking face.
The universe just saying nope.
I'll
So
look right now.
you guys know Doom Eternal just came out, right?
Yeah, and
Yes.
I need to play it. I'm mad I don't own it.
There's already a speed run of it.
Are you
out.
serious?
Yeah, they finished it in like an hour.
Oh, it's in the description. It's just PDHM
That's
Podcast.
sad. Is it on the highest difficulty though?
I don't know.
Is it big? difficulty?
That's the big move.
But
It
it's
doesn't
just
count.
like it literally disgusts
'Cause I know-
me that somebody already like
No, that somebody
destroyed
puts
that game.
put that much time into the game and learned the levels that much and the spawns
Yeah.
and everything to the point and like study the engine enough to get to
Well,
the point
don't-
where you could do it. In
Is
an
in
hour.
their books though, like when you pre-order games and shit like that.
There
Yes,
are
I
Like
do.
guides,
what's that
but,
game
like,
style?
not like
Like-
speedrun guides. Like
no speed runs, but that's what I mean. Like a book where the guy, like I guess they go through that guide before the game actually comes out, I guess, and they just know a little bit beforehand.
I watched video about people getting perfect runs and like speed runs and stuff. And
Yeah.
like I don't know, that stuff's interesting to me. Somebody did the whole Souls saga
Yeah.
and
shit was
with
crazy.
with not a single hit. And then he was playing. I remember one time he was playing the last boss in Dark Souls 3, and then he gets hit right before killing him, and he's just like, "Fuck!" Had to
No,
restart.
see,
Speed
the
run?
high difficulty, that's the key right there. Because I know I'm playing Doom right now, the first one in Nightmare mode, and I'm only on mission 3, barely.
Yeah. That shit's hard.
That is
That's the
hard.
thing. That's the thing I love about speedrun. It's amazing to watch them do it, but it also makes me cry on the inside because they're just destroying games I love. You know,
They're making the game
like
not look as good.
exactly. Like, I watched
I saw
I
somebody
watched
speed ran Minecraft in like 22 minutes or something.
yeah, I watched what was it? A Crash Bandicoot. You know the Insane Trilogy, the remaster,
Hmm.
and they did it insanely, and it just made me cry because I was like, Crash, my beloved Crash.
My boy.
He has been
Uh,
deflowered.
do y'all consider
What did you send me, Scrub?
speed
Oh, what did I
runs?
send you?
I don't know.
Let's say
What?
speed runs with glitches in
Oh.
them. Do y'all consider those actual speed runs?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. Like
Wait,
exploits
speedruns with
in
what?
game, like exploits in games. Like when they use an exploit to cut time in a speed run. Do you think
Oh,
that's an actual speed run?
no. I mean, like, what is
Because
it?
I would say that you would have to go through the game legitly to make
The
it an
guy, the
official.
guy who speed ran Minecraft had to use a specific seed so he knew the
Mhm.
world in order to
Yep.
do it. Otherwise, it'd be
Mm,
impossible to speedrun Minecraft, honestly.
Got my
yeah,
feet
yeah.
up there.
But I mean, like for games like I've seen someone speedrun Mario 64, and they did like an exploit where he jumps through the map and like basically gets to like Bowser within minutes.
Well, that doesn't count. That doesn't.
That's what I mean. Like you have to go through the game through the stars and shit like that, right?
I mean, that's what any percent is for.
Hmm.
That's what that is for. And then you have like 100% all collectibles and all that shit.
Okay, so there's different categories of.
Yeah.
Okay,
Of
that's
big
a
PP
that's a
havers,
little bit better.
different
Yeah.
categories of
Oh,
big
do you
PP
guys see
havers.
this shit?
Huh?
Hold up. Where is it? Here we go. Tell me I don't see this shit. Hold up. I got a couple of them right here.
You read, bro?
Yeah, tell me what I read though.
I don't know. What do you read?
Hey.
I'll show you something cool.
Oh
But
god. It's
Tom
gonna be another
Clancy.
family photo. How much you guys
Sam
want to bet?
Clancy. You know I'm
Fucking rotten
obsessed with
ass hair.
Siege.
Oh, you're reading the Tom Clancy's books? Those are actually supposed to be really good. I've never actually.
Yeah.
They are really good.
I don't like reading, so it's tell by my
why do
I
you,
can tell
why do you think
already.
why do you think one of my Smurfs names is Clancy?
True, true. The biggest thing with me is like, it's not that I hate reading. It's just I'm lazy and I'm a visual learner, so reading doesn't help me. I'd rather watch something.
I
Like,
bought the whole Ghost Recon series.
what is it
The
when you
whole, all of them.
when you get something new? What do you do as a man when you first open up something new that you have to build? You throw away the directions, obviously. Duh. And then
Depends on
and
what
if
it
you get
is. Not lately.
no, no,
I
no.
I
haven't
got
been.
this shit.
And
Lately, I
then
have not been.
if you get lost, you then go on YouTube and look it up. And duh. Fuck the
You
directions.
just
She's
I'm not here
watching
to
us,
read.
bro. She wants to know what the hell's going on in here.
Fuck you, bitch. Throws the bottle at the monitor.
like I want to touch it.
I can't reach, man. Shit's so, whoa. He just went from like 300 IQ to fucking 4,000 IQ. You see
You
that?
mean 420?
4,000 IQ players.
420 IQ.
Bro.
Yeah, he went from 400 IQ to 420 IQ
That's
to
too much glare.
69.
Yes. I got my
My
feet up
vision
there.
from
Best
went from
numbers.
fucking 720 to 1080.
So what are you guys doing with this?
At the quarantine?
Well, you're not really quarantined. Chicago probably is, no?
I live in Chicago.
That's what I'm saying.
We're on how do I explain it?
Curfew?
It's no, we don't even have a curfew. It's not a definitive lockdown, but it's a they urge us to stay home
Self
unless you need.
quarantine.
It's basically self quarantine and only go out if you absolutely need to. Which, granted, I don't go out much anyway since it's cold out. If it was summertime, I'd go out a lot more. But
It was
See, I
beautiful
work
today.
in-
We
I
went
mean-
for a nice walk today.
all I've been doing is wiring my house, and I got halfway through rewiring my house. My house is from 1948, so all the wires are like 70 plus years old. It's great. It sucks.
I can't imagine trying to. What are you just pulling new wire tied to
No,
the
we're-
end of the old
yeah,
wire?
yeah. We're just pulling new wire, but here's the thing: the insulation on the wire is so fucking gross. It's just my hands are black from
It's all
pulling one
paper.
wire.
It's all
Oh, it's
garbage
disgusting.
paper.
And then okay, here's the best
You're
part.
learning though. That's a good thing.
I mean, yes, but here's the best part about the way my house is wired, because it was back when there were no regulations, so some moron fucking did it like a crackhead. So you're supposed to have like your HVAC unit, like your heating and air,
It's own
on
breaker.
on its own breaker. Yeah, that's attached to the other half of the house.
Well, now you guys can do it right and
The-
not worry about it burning down.
No, we can't change it because it's at the end of the circuit. It's the last thing on the circuit. I'm like,
Just put
oh,
a
so
new breaker in.
we'd have to redo all the wiring then still. It'd be a pain in the ass regardless. Yeah.
Then
so
just
it's
pull
like
all the other wires off and just rewire those.
they did that, and then halves of some rooms are attached. It's
Yeah,
wildly
that
annoying.
switch controls an outlet all the way down
So
over there.
so my whole half of my house, so it's my room, my mother's room, and like one outlet in the front room, and then the basement. That's all controlled from one little breaker, and then the one breaker on top of that, it has one outlet in my room. One whole breaker to one outlet, but then the heating and air attached to the whole half of the house. I dude,
Just
I
leave
have
it
had
and
the
put a new breaker in so that it can handle the
man.
load.
I've had the biggest headache from doing this
Oh,
shit for the
I
past.
know how to handle a load.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go
Are
over
we?
to Ghost
Hey,
House
are we talking 220 or 480? What are we talking? I'm sure
You
Ryan knows.
already
I
know.
think he's got a big black booger hanging out of his left nostril.
That's actually a hair.
Oh shit.
Pull that
Yeah.
hair right now,
Do
brother.
it,
Right
do
on the
it.
podcast.
It
Do it.
is like the darkest thing on your body.
Ah.
Do it. Come on,
Ah.
The viewers just went from 95% male to 2000% male.
Ghost. Yeah.
The boys are due coming to the yard.
That's
What-
that's
my
another thing
milkshake?
I wanted to talk about. For the CS:GO streams, actually pulled a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
A lot of you.
It actually pulled a lot of viewers. I was
And I-
surprised.
What was it? Richard was telling me he's just like I can't. Because I told him, I said, why don't you just play the game and actually cast it? He goes, because I'm too biased. I'm like, why don't you just put your dick away for like for a few hours? Just put your dick away. Like, I don't know. Just put your dick away. Just be unbiased.
I don't know. The last game I casted went on for like 4 hours plus. The first map, Nuke, went to triple overtime.
Wait, Nuke went to triple overtime?
Yeah,
I
They
hate
win?
Nuke. That map is so
they
bad.
did not win Nuke.
I mean, it's a good map. It's just so poorly balanced. Like which side? I hate it.
It's
If you-
it's CT sided.
It's so CT sided. It's disgusting. What was it? We were talking. I was telling Rich because he goes. So we're getting smoked because we were losing 12-3 after the half, and we started
Mhm.
T side. I'm like, it's T side on Nuke, bro. I'm like, once
No,
you're
it
down
was it
12
was it was us two. I think that was the match he was watching.
No. He was talking about the Nuke one because I was messaging him on the side while we were
Yeah.
casting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he's like, so we're getting smoked. I'm like, it's T side on Nuke, bro. Like starting on T side on Nuke is not good because it just kills your morale. And once
It's
you're down
really
12-3,
hard.
yeah, once you're down 12-3, like you don't even want to play anymore. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like
Yeah.
Hey, we're
Fuck
at
that
3
map.
viewers. How's it going?
Hi, viewers. How
Hello.
are you?
Are there any like Rainbow Six maps that are
Hi.
more geared towards like
Hold on, where are you,
defense
Jersey?
or
On my
attack?
on your screen.
Bottom right. Your
Bottom
bottom,
right.
left. Your bottom
I'm
left.
bottom left.
Gravy's
Okay.
top
Please don't
left.
put the
Do it.
Scrubs
Put it
top right.
to me.
Don't put the
No,
fucking-
you gotta go to the other way.
No, oh god, no.
okay,
Now I
I'm trying to listen. To
I'm
this.
like completely opposite. I'm over here trying to lick Scrub's face.
He's
somehow.
licking the wall.
I'd like you to lick my face.
But
So what were you saying, Gravy?
I'm saying is there any like Rainbow Six maps that are like defender sided or attacker
Oh,
sided?
of
Oh,
course,
almost
of course.
every map is defender sided
And
heavy.
right now they're defender sided just because a lot of the defenders, the gadgets are very trap heavy or really good at wasting utility on attack. But
So there's a lot of trap operators, and there's not a
yeah,
lot of There's only one operator that can really get rid of traps at a distance with an EMP. Other operators, you just have to basically go in there and shoot the fucking trap yourself and expose your area where you're coming from. Even
this
if
is
you're using a suppressor, you are still making a lot of noise in the game.
but all
Yeah.
get all gadgets and everything aside, there are a few maps that are specific, like in the ESL and well, ranked has the same maps as ESL,
Yeah.
but in the ranked pool, ESL pool, comp pool, whatever you want to call it, um, there are a few maps that are defender sided. I don't know if Outback is still in that playlist. I don't know. I know Villa's heavily defender sided. There's
Bank. Oh, Bank's
Bank.
coming out of rotation
Bank got
though.
taken out for theme park, which theme park's even more defender sided.
Fucking Armory is a guaranteed win.
Yeah, exactly. Throne or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a few though. There's
Yeah.
quite a few maps that are heavily defender sided, like
So what
Villa especially.
what
I
game
can
do you
send a
think has
clip
like
right
the
now.
most balanced maps?
Most balanced maps on Siege Coastline.
No. I'm saying like out of every
As
like
a game that I've ever,
FPS shooters.
I think
Like,
the games that I've ever
Are you
played
saying?
that
Are you
had a
saying that it's
balanced
based?
map is Gears of War.
Are you saying that it's based on a round, like a round based system, not like a scoring system like Battlefield or COD?
what do you mean?
Like it goes from rounds, like how Counter Strike or Siege is in
No. I
rounds.
mean
Or
like
Maps overall, any
maps
game.
overall. Like, do you
Yeah,
think
I think
like
Gears of
what
War, in my
game do
opinion.
you think has the most balanced map?
Bad Company 2 or Battlefield.
Four
Bad
is
Company 2
good.
or Battlefield 4. Yeah,
4 was good. There was
Battlefield
really
3 is pretty
no.
good too.
I can't
For
say there
me,
was any map where I was like, "Fuck, we're starting on this side." On Battlefield 4,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Same with Bad Company 2.
really, I mean,
Battlefield 3 had a
Zavad is
couple
a
of
little
maps.
bit one-sided.
Eh,
Depends on your team though, because
yeah,
that was the wonderful thing about Battlefield is you could take one squad and if they were good enough and had good enough tactics, they could turn the whole game around on the other team.
Mm.
They
I
could
feel
I
like
swing
think
Battlefield
Gears
around
of War is a
definitely
good
was
game.
more of like
Gears is good
team
maps too.
game.
I never played
Gears
it.
Yeah.
does have good maps. Yeah.
I think Gears is balanced because I've been playing Gears since '06. I stopped playing like after Gears 3. But '06, I remember back in the maps, like you had a gun, a power up gun on each side that both and teams could get to at the same time at the start of the match.
They
And
still
And then
then
do
they
that.
had a very yeah, they still do that, and then they would have a very powerful weapon at the center of the map that both teams again could access at the same time.
and the maps are very symmetrical.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
and
that
you
I
start off
noticed.
with the same loadouts as well. So I think that game is very balanced, whether like
Absolutely,
you're playing competitive or casually. Like you can get an edge either way. It
absolutely.
just depends on how you're playing, how you play it. You know,
Yeah.
that's why
I'm
I
watching a
like
lot
Gears a
of
lot.
the COD boys when they're playing, and I feel like there's no real big advantage map wise, really.
There
On
is
Call of
huge
Duty,
advantages on sides and spawns.
There's
Really?
yeah,
That's
there
how
is.
they.
Yeah.
That's why it's so. They're looking for a coach, but they need a coach that is in it as much as they are because it has to do with literally where the other team starts spawning. Like there'll be 5 or 6 spawn points on the map, and then
Yeah, but I
if
feel
they
like
move a certain way, it pushes the spawns a certain way. So they have
that's
to
what I'm
use
saying.
that.
Like I feel um like even if your spawns flip, you can flip them right back. You know what I mean? Like
It's not
yeah,
that
you can
easy.
easily dominate in Call of Duty. I feel like,
Ooh, it's getting
Yeah.
but
spicy
well,
now.
against a competitive team, I wouldn't know honestly because I've never
it's
played
not
COD
that
competitively.
easy, no, but like it's still very much so doable.
I mean, absolutely.
But
You
you
know?
have to focus heavily on that if that's the case. You can't do that with just one person. At least from me watching it, it's very hard for them to use one person to do it. They got to run with 2 people and hope that they don't get outgunned.
Yeah. And then if somebody does get killed, you got to get the refrag, especially on search.
Mm.
Which that's something I noticed about a lot of Call of Duty teams, since the game is so respawn heavy. Because I was playing Surge with Javi and a few other Call of Duty guys. And I'm sitting there carrying some of them in some of the maps. I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like, I play a lot of Siege, so I understand.
Don't
You know what I
die.
mean? Like,
And Ghost
yeah,
perspective.
but like,
Yeah.
you, I mean, it's not even just don't die. Part of it, I feel like, is just your mindset in a
It's
non-respawn game
different.
mode, and you just
Mhm.
have to have that confidence. I think confidence is a huge thing with
Oh,
non-respawn
dude,
game modes.
I was playing Mirage today. Uh, bunny hopped down to mid boxes on T side. Fucking two guys were rushing down mid, and I was just like, "Alright, let's go."
Let's go.
You know?
That's just- that's the one thing I've always noticed. A lot of people when they're used to respawn games, they're afraid of game modes that you
They're
don't
afraid.
respawn in.
Yeah,
They're
they're
afraid to
afraid of
peek
like, yeah.
I don't
because they
like
think they're
sitting
gonna
there and
die.
waiting after I die.
Here's my biggest thing, like, or a lot of people don't understand, or who like first get into game modes like that. Like, the only way you're gonna win is if you have confidence in your aim and
If
your
you make the
ability.
play, man, you
You
gotta
gotta
make
make
the
the
play.
play. You gotta think out of the box and just be.
I got
Sometimes you gotta be aggressive.
I got two
Like,
kills,
Yeah,
and then
I mean,
we won the round. You know, like I was opping.
yeah, on Siege when I'm going off, Scrub, you're just like hyping me up, and that just makes me feel better. And I just go in there with so much confidence, big dick swinging left and right, and I'm just
Hell
like
yeah,
fragging out, you know.
I've always been the hype train, baby.
Uh,
that's how it goes.
but like,
Exactly.
you just gotta be in a good ass mood, just not fucking worrying about
Yeah,
shit. Like,
you can't doubt yourself when you're
yeah, you
playing
gotta
like
be vibing,
The,
dude.
like when I've played Siege a few times after taking long breaks, and I start doubting myself, and you play so much worse when
so
you're
much differently.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
when you're so self-conscious of yourself and you're like, oh, my aim's off today or whatever. Like, you gotta just go in there, like, even if your aim's off, I got this. I could take this gunfight easy. This is all mine. I mean, sometimes you'll lose, but like, that's a huge thing with non-respawn game modes. Like, if you don't have the confidence, you're not gonna make it. Like, it's period. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure
Definitely.
Ryan knows.
I don't know what
He's
you
like,
were saying. I was busy adjusting my
he's like,
monitors.
he's like, I'm just out here playing Xbox 360 24-man obliteration Battlefield 4, brother.
Dude,
What are you talking about?
I've been playing
Remember when we
Obliteration
used to play
forever.
obliteration competitively? Oh,
Squad obliteration, yeah. You know what obliteration is good. You want to know when it's good? 64 man on PC. Then it's fire. That shit's fire.
That's crazy shit.
so
You know what's crazy? That fucking shiny ass head on Ghost. You know, I just want to. You ever just want to rub your scrotum against something like that?
Thing I
It looks
love.
like Clash from Siege. I'm just out here playing Xbox 360 24-man obliteration Battlefield 4,
Fucking
brother.
Clash from Siege.
Dude,
what is
What are you talking about?
everybody's opinion on Warzone? And have you guys played it?
I haven't played it yet.
Fire, absolute flame, best battle royale out there. I don't give a fuck.
I
Currently,
don't
yes, I agree, and
I
it's
don't
easy.
know. I'm tired of the battle royale. Honestly.
Oh no, I'm tired of battle royales too. I feel like Warzone did it differently than other games.
No, you
One
know
with the
who did it
one with the
differently than other
currency.
games?
Who?
Cuisine Royale.
I was
Everybody's
expecting to be
Nico
saying
like.
about that.
I thought
Cardoso,
I thought you were gonna
98.
be
Thanks for the
like.
follow, brother.
I thought you were gonna hit me with the Battlefield 5 did it differently. That battle royale was such
Oh, I
trash.
never played that. That shit
Oh,
was trash.
what was it? My third game playing a solo when that game came out, or when that game mode came out. I dropped like a 17 bomb and won. I was like, this shit's stupid. I'm done playing this.
But if you ever get the chance to, I'm pretty sure it's free on Steam.
Cuisine Royale?
Cuisine
Actually, I'm gonna
Royale.
check right now.
That shit is
Does that tattoo get more work done every time I see you,
amazing.
Ghost?
He just got
No,
it. Like,
negative.
it is free to play. Cuisine Royale is.
I got this done like a week and a
Wait,
half
it's made
ago,
by
or 2 weeks.
Gaijin Entertainment.
It
They
wasn't
made
complete
PUBG.
the last time I saw it then. It was
Yeah.
only
I don't
Star,
know.
right?
This shit is
Ooh,
fire, dude.
got a little bit left in there. Ooh.
Mm. I might have to install Cuisine Royale.
Argentina.
But, you know, definitely my favorite battle royale though by far is Warzone right now. Because Apex is kind of boring. Apex used to be so much better. I don't know what they did. Like, they brought out the new map, and that game just does not. It hasn't felt the same since
PUBG, baby.
like when it came out.
Fuck
PUBG's
PUBG,
okay,
dude.
but it runs like shit. I mean, granted, I get 120 FPS while streaming. I don't. I mean, the way it looks, it should run way better than that. And that's the other reason why I won't play Escape from Tarkov. The game was ran. And they optimized it for fucking super servers. And if you have anything less than a $20,000 server, you can't run it. I don't know.
You know what I like? I like Daisy.
I haven't actually never played it. Are you talking about the
Daisy.
mod?
I'm talking about both.
I haven't got to play them. I
Never
have the
played
mod,
them.
but I've never played it. If you want to show me the
Damn,
ropes,
I've never played them.
I would have to download everything.
Arma 2 again.
Yeah.
I'm down,
Hello,
dude. We
greetings
can
from
get down.
Argentina.
And you have to have
Hey
Operation
guys,
That's
we
what
got
Vertigo.
Robbie.
greetings from
I don't know.
Argentina right
That's what
now.
Robbie wants to play when
Hey.
he builds his PC. He wants us all to play Arma.
I have Arma 2. I can get Arma 3
I have
though.
Armor 2.
I don't have any of them. I can get whatever the fuck I want, being hood rich.
Armor 3 is.
Let me hold $100.
military.
Sure.
I mean, Arma 3 is
No, I don't like owing people
modern
money.
computer.
That's why I've
I'm not
never
giving you- I'm
done
not giving you
credit. I've always
$100,
bought
bro.
all my shit cash.
That's why I
That's why
bought
my
Mike.
house is not owned by the bank.
Mike Truck's not owned by the bank. Yeah, same shit.
Same shit, different
And
person,
if you
different
needed
dollars.
money, it'd be a different conversation.
Hey, Dad, are you the bank?
No,
I was gonna say because I need money.
that's
no, I'm not.
that's
the bank.
the first. Yeah,
I can treat
exactly.
you
That's
like
the
the bank.
first.
I can lend it
That's
at
the
a
first big mistake. though.
7% interest.
I could give you my services, aka
Yeah.
blowjobs.
Alright, well.
I volunteer as tribute. How much do you need?
How many blowjobs do you need?
Volunteers tribute
I need precisely 76 blowjobs.
and a half.
76 and a half. All right, I'm gonna
Yep.
need $76.5 million because those are some expensive blowjobs.
They better be amazing.
Oh, the best you'll ever have. They're exclusive from me, so you know.
Good night, sweet prince.
What was it? This one carpenter I was working with. I was asking him. I was like, "What's the craziest shit you've seen?" And he was just like, he's telling me how he saw a dude fall 41 stories and get skewered on his head on a piece of rebar. And he was just like, they couldn't peel him off until the OSHA guy got there like 8 hours later. And he said people kept dying at that site and they had to shut off the job for 2 years. And he was just like, that wasn't the thing that fucked me up the most though. He goes, I was working with this one guy for one day, and you know, when you're working with a guy in construction, you're sitting there, you're bullshitting. You talk about your families.
Learn.
You become friends. You become close friends. And literally the next day, the dude falls 4 stories onto his head and dies. The day after that, he's like, "Dude, I was just talking to this guy yesterday. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like that.
I remember when I like I said I was working as a fucking welder in a fucking shipping dock or whatever for ships, and they had hoses where they had pressured air, but like these hoses were thick as hell, and like the pressure that's coming out, you have to grip it when you're trying to pull it out, you know. So I was
Like you're
gonna
grabbing a dick, you know. You
yeah. Well, this guy didn't do it well enough to where he pulled it out and that shit went and smacked him in the teeth, dude, and broke all the front teeth and he was just bleeding there, dude. Like,
I used to
God
work in
damn.
live roadways in New York City, and we had the 10th anniversary of 9/11. It was weird because when you work on bridges, if the clouds are heavy, you're working in the clouds. And that whole week, it was just, I've never seen it for such a long period of time. It was really weird, really eerie. It was like just one of those
dude, cut
moments.
out there.
I said, when you're working on bridges, you're literally working on in the clouds sometimes if they're heavy.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
week, the 10th anniversary of 9/11 week, it was really weird. It just, I've seen it and I've experienced it where it was a day or two, but I've never experienced it where it was a whole week. Yeah, it was really weird. And people in New York City, when they're on the highways, they do 70 miles an hour. Construction's going on. They're going right past you. They don't even think twice. So you have to, when you're working in that environment, I've had plenty of coworkers that I've wanted to punch in the face on a daily basis. But when you're in that roadway, it's like any other high-risk job. You've got each other's backs. You have to. And
Exactly.
that week we had a couple bad accidents. One, a dude in a pickup truck with welding equipment got hit by a box truck, or they broke down, and they got out because they were smart enough to get out of the truck and walk away from it. And the son went back to grab something, reached his arm in the truck. As he was pulling his arm out, the truck got blasted by a box truck, and the acetylene tank went up. It lit on
God
fire.
damn.
So we are literally driving up onto the bridge because at that time I was a tow truck driver for them. So we technically are the first responders, even though we're not supposed to fight fires and save lives. We still have that training just in case somebody's life is in danger. We are going to be the first ones there. just because we're already on the facility. We have the emergency lights, the sirens, everything. And people move out of the way for us before they move out of the way for police and EMS. But so that dude pulled his arm out of the truck as it got blasted by the box truck. The acetylene tank went, lit the whole truck on fire, and the fire department's sitting there trying to cool it because the as we're driving up, the oxygen tank blows, and it was like a fucking. I can't even tell you. It shook the whole bridge. It's a 2-mile long bridge. So the fire department could not get it cool enough with water. They had to use, we have what's called Purple K, and it's like Halon, where if you're standing in the cloud, you better have had a deep breath first. Look, she's chilling.
Bro, I've heard some loud explosions
But
in my life before
but
because
I'm
I
not
live
I'm
close to
not
the
done.
refineries down here in Texas.
I'm
Those
not done.
motherfuckers have gone off before.
So that week as well, you had another guy break down in his work van, and we get the call and we start speeding up, and it's eastbound and westbound, right? Eastbound is headed into Brooklyn, westbound is headed from Brooklyn to Staten Island, and our home base is in Staten Island. During rush hour, we post in Brooklyn as well. This way, we don't have to fight traffic both ways. But this was midday, no traffic, and we get the call that there's a broken down vehicle on the westbound side. And on the way up there, I'm thinking in my head, that's not going to be a disabled vehicle by the time we get there. And sure enough, the guy got out of his van, went to look under his hood, got fucking blasted by a box truck. It hit him.
Wait, why did the box truck hit him?
They couldn't see him. They were coming over the top of the hill, and they just 70 miles an hour.
Rear-ended him?
Rear-ended him. He was at a
Why
dead
was he in the
stop
middle of the lane?
because he broke down, and there's no shoulders on the bridge. It's just 3 lanes each way. So he broke
Yeah, there's
down.
a bridge in Louisiana like that he goes over into clouds.
This is
and
the
can't
only
see
time
shit.
I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen a lot of people get fucked up. I've seen a lot of things happen on that property. Nothing's fucked me up quite like this. The dude got hit. The dude was in front of the van when the box truck hit him. And I don't even remember where he was, but what happened was the van moved like 300, 400 feet up the hill, and somebody pulled up behind it, and it started rolling back, and they thought that person, there was still somebody in it driving back to the scene, so they moved out of the way. A retired police officer got out to help the person that got hit, and the van rolled back over him and dragged him about 150 feet, and the dude that initially got hit lived. That guy died. And when
died?
The guy that got out to help, the retired cop that got out to help.
Damn.
But the most fucked up, I pull up, you see the blood, just 150 feet of blood. And when you get there, and you immediately are just like, okay, we can't do anything. Fire and EMS are there at this point. And it's just like, okay, we're going to stand by. We're going to block traffic, close down the bridge, whatever we have to do. But that didn't fuck me up when I saw that. It wasn't until because that bridge is covered in cameras. There's not a square inch of that bridge inside and out you cannot see on a camera. And we wanted to know what happened, so I watched the video later, and that's when it fucked me up. I saw
There's a video of it?
Yeah, it's everything on those properties. Since 9/11, there's not a square inch of those properties. Public? No. It's all closed circuit, baby. They don't want. No, they can't make that shit public.
How'd you find it?
I went back into the office because I worked there. I went back to
I've
the
seen
office
someone
with the lieutenant and say, hey, can we watch this? I want to see what the fuck happened. And he showed us the video, and for like 2 weeks, I was just like, fuck. It was bad. I've seen a dude, so you have about 12 toll lanes that go into 3 lower level and 3 on the upper level. And I've seen a pickup truck.
I was gonna say, I've seen videos of people get shot in the face and shit. It's
not that bad. I saw it in person, and then I saw what actually happened, and that's what screwed me up. But I've seen a pickup truck. I watched it happen. A pickup truck go from the far right lane, make a 90-degree turn, go to the upper level, and a fucking motorcycle just right into the side. And the guy head over the bars, headbutts the truck, lays down on the ground. And we were the first ones there. And the dude was conscious, and he was with it. And we did what we had to do because at that point,
did he have a helmet on?
He did have a helmet on, but at that point, But he was doing the speed limit, dead stop onto the side of a pickup truck with his head.
Oh yeah.
So at that point, we're just like, don't move. We held his head, made sure he didn't move his head because if somebody just gets in an accident, you're like, all right, they're moving around. But this dude took a header, and was sitting there, and my partner, who I hated, I wanted to punch in the face on a daily basis, is down, holding his head, just saying, "Don't move, you're okay." And the guy's talking to us. He's coherent. And he looks at me. He goes, "Did you just fucking fart in my face?" I'm like, "No, dude." He goes, "What the fuck? Stop farting in my face." And the dude's laying there, and he was Italian. He spoke broken English. He was like, "I think I shit in my pants. I think I shit in my pants," because he took a fucking header. And he gets
Yeah.
there, and the EMS get there, and they start cutting his pants. He goes, "Oh, no, 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 no! I think I shit in my pants." He goes, "Dude," and it was a firefighter that started giving him aid, and the firefighter's like, "Dude, I'm a firefighter. I fight fires for hours every day. I shit my pants regularly."
It's normal,
Yeah,
okay?
he was like, to work, I have to shit my pants to do my job properly. And the dude was like, "Oh, okay, cut my pants off then." Dude, I've seen some shit there. I've seen people
No.
jump. I've seen all types. When you get a call that there was a abandoned vehicle with no driver, you know where the driver is. The driver's in the water, and it's fucked up. Yeah, the people that threaten to jump, the people that make the news, never do. They never want to. If they jump, they're just gonna go. You're not even gonna know that they were there. The only reason why you know they were there is there's a car there. It's
I was
fucking
gonna
weird.
say, I think the most fucked up shit I've seen is someone get skinned alive.
What?
Mine is
In
what?
person?
Not in person.
But like in a video?
In a video, yeah, I was young and I don't know, just people like being fucked up and then just showing shit to kids, dude.
No, I remember I watched a video of like a cartel cutting off this girl's head with like a rusty butter knife. But like she took it like a champ. No expression or nothing. She wasn't crying, nothing. Like she knew what was up. But I'm like, damn. She didn't even scream. She just took it. I was like, oh my god. Saw on her fucking
No.
head. Oh my god, she's just taking it.
Yeah, this
It's
dude, no,
crazy.
they sawed his head off and then chopped his limbs off and then skinned him and then showed his face up like that, like in the camera. And everyone, and they just had
Damn,
like a group of
guys.
people just like around them, like, yeah, this is normal, dude. Yeah, just
How would
continue.
you be that sick of an individual to do something like that?
Exactly, right? Like, and like, I understand why the wall wants to be built. Like, fuck.
This is where I understand why we want a wall. To keep
Well, I mean,
individuals
not
like
even that.
that.
Like, I'm Mexican. I come from Mexico, and there are some people that just have no
Wix,
morals,
how
dude.
old are you?
Oh, yeah.
How old is Wix? You guys
Th-
should know
th-
this, right?
That's, I mean,
But that's not just in
no, I don't.
Mexico. That's just everywhere, dude.
Oh,
There's
there's a
just
lot of
people without
places,
fucking. It's fucked up people,
especially
dude.
with my generation or like millennials or whatever, just younger people in general. A lot of them don't have any guidance. I feel like religion is a huge guiding factor for a lot of people,
It's
and
good
I
for
feel like
some
that.
people.
No, absolutely, but I feel like a lot of people nowadays, like,
Wix is 26.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. I feel like a lot of people nowadays they don't, because there's a lot of divorce, there's a lot of things like that, and people don't have like a
We'll see
father
from.
figure sometimes, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
a huge guiding factor is having a father
Just
figure in your
jumping
life.
around.
Well, for
I
me, religion, I was part of like Sunday church and shit like that, and I did see it as a guide, but I didn't see it as something that I needed.
no,
I didn't believe
absolutely.
in the church. I didn't believe in the.
Organized religion.
Yeah, I didn't believe it, like, because I saw what the church was doing, not only to kids, but as like as individuals, not paying taxes, taking money from the people, and shit like that, and saying that you had to do this or else you would go to hell, like, or if you didn't do this, you didn't follow these rules, you had to go to hell, or like, or if you don't follow these rules, you go to jail, like all that bullshit. Like, I started free thinking myself, and I just started coming up with the idea that
Jesus, Wix, bro, you're
God.
just a fucking disaster, man. I'm glad you turned out okay on the other end.
But that's the other thing
That's
too.
fucking
I feel like a lot of people who don't have morals is it's either they don't have a guiding factor. Like you said, when you were a kid, you had religion there at some point. I feel like
hmm
that changed. Like when I feel like
Seared?
that
Just chilling.
yeah, I feel like that guide starts when you're really young. Like when you're a
Yeah,
little kid. I don't feel like it's because
extremely.
I don't feel like when you're a teenager that's where the guidance starts. No, 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 no. I feel like the guidance starts when you're really young. Either religion, a father figure, you go through some shitty things in your life, whatever. That shit really guides
Well,
you
I mean,
to
yeah,
the better in your life.
that's what made me very compassionate towards other human beings and
That's
animals and shit like that. Because at a very young age, I realized what death was, and I remember bawling my eyes out for like a week or two straight. and just like having red puffy eyes, and then like every time I saw someone or anyone that I loved, I would imagine them like in a coffin.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's gonna happen 5 years from now? I'm like at 7 years old thinking, I'm like, what's gonna happen 5 years from now? 5 years is nothing, in the time span. And I don't know. I started questioning everything, including religion and stuff like that, because my mom's just like, well, if you feel lonely, talk to God. I'm like, well, I tried to, and I don't hear anything back. And I always thought that I was missing a link that I didn't have with that certain quote unquote God.
You numbed it with weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Was it?
after time, I just made my own conclusion that like God is every single one of us experiencing, like we're all the universe experiencing life itself. Because if you think about it, um, science tells us that we are stardust, that we come from the stars, and the stars come from the universe, and this universe came from nothing. So we came from nothing, and like we're just basically experiencing individual lives. I feel like we're all just in a cosmic soup, and we're all one in the end.
Yeah.
Like, and all the knowledge comes together.
That was what I was gonna say. Like I remember growing up, like I know a lot of people that I went to high school with that I know for sure have no morals. Like they don't fucking care. All they care about is themselves. And I hate that about my generation. But like, remember growing up, I did have religion there for me. But then as I got older, I kind of grew away from that or whatever. And then the thing that really whipped me back into shape was watching my mom go through my stepdad passing away. Like that shit really fucking hit me some fucking way. That like, and then my best friend passed away 2 years ago, and that also hit me like, yo, life's fragile, dude. Like, you could die tomorrow. Like,
Yeah,
be
my
cool,
best
be
friend
nice to
passed
people.
away in
Don't be an asshole.
2016.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
Don't
been
be an
very
asshole.
lucky to not have close, or at least friends that I'm still close with, pass away. It was people that I spent a lot of time with in high school. I
Have
had
it.
really close friendships with back then. That sucks, but at least it's not the people that are directly around me now.
The what was it?
I
My
spent
homie.
about 4 or 5 years with my friend, and we didn't even know each other in person. But as soon as he passed away, that shit hit me hard, dude. That shit, like, cause we interacted every day, and I got him tattooed on my back and shit.
That's
And
dope.
yeah, that shit hurt, dude. Like, shit like that changes you.
It opens your eyes. That's what I mean. And I feel like a lot of people who don't have moral stuff, it's either they don't have a father figure, they don't have religion, or they haven't had shit like happen to them. You know what I mean? Like at a young
Hmm.
age, at a very young age, or at the same time they could have just fucked up parental figures or whatever. But like I feel like that's where it really starts is when you're a really young child at a very impressionable age. That moral compass really comes into play there. I feel like.
Yeah, we're still an empty vase,
Yeah.
or empty vessel, as they call it.
Yeah, it's life is the Wick said it fine. Life is fucked up. It's not fair, but at least you're alive, and
That's what I said. Yeah.
it is what it is, man. Shit sucks. I was 20. I wasn't out of the house yet. My father got cancer, so I was 20, 21, something like that. 21 years old. I was 20, 21 years old. My father got cancer. He lived with it for 8.5 years and died of a fucking heart attack. Thank God. That's how I look at it. He had colon, prostate, esophagus, kidney, bladder.
Jesus.
What a fucking champion, dude.
You're like
Jesus
every single
fucking
I'm
cancer
trying to
known
think.
to
Christ.
man.
See, colon was the first one. Prostate, then the prostate went into his bones, and that was kept at bay, but that
Well, I
wasn't
don't.
going away. Then it was
You say
his.
bone cancer?
It metastasized into his bones.
That's
He was golfing one day and felt a pain in his shoulder. Went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "All right, time to
the,
put
the
you on meds." And he was on estrogen and stuff because it was still prostate cancer in his bones, so it was still feeding
oh.
off his testosterone. So at
Mhm.
that point, they basically had to flip his biology. He basically went through what these fucking 10-year-olds are going through these days, but as a grown ass man.
Shit's fucked up.
It was one of the it was harder to watch that than it was to watch him be sick and slowly get sicker and sicker. It was harder to watch this man who was this tough man who jumped right into ground zero and was willing to help people and was a volunteer firefighter and was one of the strongest men I ever know, turn into a girl going through puberty. Because it was like, it was nice because he became this big sensitive dude and all this shit, but it was very, very weird to see he wasn't the
I don't think he was being a sensitive dude, man. 8 years with cancer. My uncle got it in December with prostate
but
cancer, and he only lasted a few months
if you
with
look
pain.
at it, I feel like the torment we went through, I am very lucky though. I got to have those 8 years. My father got to watch my daughter become a little girl. I got to appreciate just having him, because if my best friend Rob, whose father got brain cancer and within 6 months was dead, thought he was doing good, feeling better, and then went to the doctor and they were like, you didn't get any better, you didn't get worse, and then within a month of that, it was just gone. So I had time. I had plenty of time that at some point we were just joking, like, okay, when you die, I want this, I want that. And we were joking and laughing, and it wasn't a joke, but we all grieve in our own ways. But then he had a heart attack and died, and my brother texted him one day, and I got to see him shortly before that, and it was a nice visit, and I got to stay with him, and my brother texted him during the day, and he always would text back eventually, and it was like 1, 2 in the morning, and he was like, his girlfriend's name's Kathy, and he's like, Kathy, can you please go, he hasn't contacted me back, I need you to go with me. And they went and they found him in the bathroom, he was taking a shit, and he had a heart attack. So I look at it as the good side of things. Like, he was going to die of cancer slowly, painfully, wither away. He was on a feeding tube because he had half his esophagus. They pulled his stomach from here all the way up to here to reconnect his esophagus. So he was on a feeding tube for months until he finally was able to drink some tea and stuff like that. And even then, he still couldn't eat enough, so he had to be on a feeding tube. So the fact that he
Live
took
that
a shit,
long. That's
that he probably, if he's anything like me, he loved taking shits. And it felt amazing, and then he died. So in reality, the couple minutes of terror that he probably went through, and the realization of what was going on, and he was alone and living in his own home, and him and my mother were separated, which is another reason, Wix, you're not the only one that hasn't talked to your mother. It's a blessing. It's a real blessing that he went quick of a heart attack. You
That's
know what
how
I
I
mean?
feel about my stepdad passing. Yeah.
I mean, from the story that you're saying, 80 years with cancer, I see that as an absolute win. I see him beating
He did.
cancer by saying
He
fuck it.
beat
He
four
beat
of the
cancer.
five. He beat four of the five
Exactly.
cancers. And
Yeah, that's him saying fuck you to cancer and saying I'm gonna go out my own way.
I've
I'm gonna
said
go
it
out
before.
taking a shit.
Yeah. Well, that happens a lot to elderly people. Apparently, they
Mm.
push and their heart gives out. But I don't know. Oh, I'm in therapy now. I'm very much into lately of the universe just doing things that are right, and if you just do the right thing in life, it comes out good. I look at this coronavirus thing as it's going to be beneficial to me. I just got my business license. I just got the LLC formed. I literally just got my tax papers from the IRS this morning. And the good thing is I have no work, and I'm not allowed to work because we can't get building permits. So within
Did y'all
this
read
time, I
what
could.
Wix said?
Huh?
Did y'all read what Wix said? That's fucking heavy, Wix.
Damn.
Yeah, that's really
Well,
fucking
I was
heavy.
19. We both can come.
I don't think you're responsible, dude. We all have free will.
Shit
I just think,
happens.
yeah, shit happens. I don't think you're responsible though, and I don't think you should beat yourself up for it. Like I said, we all have free will. We all make conscious decisions here and there.
Everything happens for a reason. That's the other thing. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
you don't know what's gonna happen in 30 minutes after or whatever. You don't know what's gonna happen.
You know what
You know
Shit,
what I
though?
mean?
tomorrow
Like,
after this podcast, like out of nowhere, I could die.
we could all
Yeah.
die like right after this. You know what I mean? Like, someone coming to my house and blow my brains out. Like, Shit happens. I mean, it's just
And
it's a part of life.
look at this way. If you look at it anyway and you try to do, I'm a very half full glass type of guy. Everything like this coronavirus, I'm looking at it, I'm like, my business is probably going to thrive because I'm going to be able to line up work. I'm going to be able to get through the whole process of what I have to do and everything. In the meantime, you would not be the person you are not that you are today. Success, well, it depends on how you gauge success. I gauge success that I'm raising a decent daughter and I'm not homeless. You wouldn't be as successful as you are. You wouldn't have the conscious mind and think the way you think without these things happening to you. So maybe your friend would not have been in a good spot in life if that had not happened to him. Maybe he would have grown up and things would have happened to him in life and he wouldn't have had the wherewithal and the thought process to look at it and move beyond it and to use it to fuel his future or whatever we all do with the shit. Some people go down a bad, dark path because of shit. It could be something small. Some people get molested and it destroys their whole fucking life. Some people get molested and they're fine. They move right past it.
Some people get molested and turn into gays. Like,
But all I'm saying is things. I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but I think depending on the person, you can use those things and look at them in that way. That if that happened to you, maybe you were in that car, and maybe you both died. Maybe that's the way of the universe saying, okay, we're not going to take everybody today. You know, maybe it's not your fault because he was going to get home regardless, and one of you, something was going to happen that night. So you walked away from it. He gave his life for you. That's a better way of looking at it than saying it's your fault he's dead. Because both of you could have been dead. In fact, you survived another horrible car crash. Maybe that's all part of it. You know what I mean? I'm not a huge religious guy. I never have been, but I am much more lately in the past couple of years since my father passed away into
same.
things
Yeah, and
going well for a reason.
instead of beating yourself up for it too, you should try to honor him and live as much as you can for him.
Yeah, but live a good life because think of what he would have wanted. He would have wanted you to still party and enjoy yourself. Don't go do heroin, you know, don't go smoke crack. But he would have wanted you to
Hey,
still
what if I
chase
want
that
to do
tail.
heroin and smoke crack?
And that's up to you, buddy. But I'm sure his friend wouldn't want him to. But
Yeah.
if you know, if he liked chasing tail and you got a good girl that you love and she loves you and he would probably say, you know, good for you. I'm happy you're happy type stuff. So don't beat yourself up over it. And no matter what I tell you is not going to change how you feel about it. But
Yeah.
I think everybody needs a little bit more of that glass half full in their life. Whether
I think
it's,
everyone needs a little bit of a boost, anyways, every day.
I agree.
Just someone that's have some reassurance, at least from a stranger, is always nice too.
Yeah. And who's got a mega fat peepee?
I think you're a great guy, Wix. Just keep your head up.
I love you, Wix. I love how he's like sticks around our streams even though we're all shitty streamers.
Yeah.
We're just friends. That's all it is. It's
I
not
like Wix,
about the
yeah. He's
streamers.
the man.
All of us
No,
are doing this stuff hoping
no,
that
I'm saying, like-
somebody makes it out of the entire organization.
No, I'm
And
saying that Wix randomly found me on Twitch, and
Oh.
now he's
And
always
he-
hanging out in our streams.
Yeah, he's
Wix,
always
you're
supporting
welcome
me.
to join our Discord and jump in playing with anybody if that's what you want to
Yeah.
do, man.
Yeah.
We got console players too.
Yeah, I play
No,
Xbox. We have our COD team is solely PS5. I didn't think any of them really play on PC.
Yeah. And then,
We were a Xbox based organization back in the day, and then with the console change, a third went to PC, a third went to PS4, and a third went back to Xbox. And now we're all together just because of Discord. Discord is the only thing that brought us back together.
Mainly, and also most of these people are getting PCs too.
Well, that's thanks to Scrub being able to keep within our budget and give us what we need.
What we need. I try to live the best life I can and do the best I can to honor him, like in the process of restoring his dream car and everything that goes into it for him. That's fucking amazing, dude.
That's badass.
That's a good thing, because
That is
one day
honestly
when
a
you're
fucking
done, you'll be
amazing
able
thing
to
that you're
drive
doing.
it, and he'll be sitting next to you. You know, if you can picture that, he'll be sitting next to you in the car, giving you a thumbs up and giving you a kiss
Cruising
on
down
the
the
cheek.
street.
Yeah.
You're
That
6'4".
shit's awesome,
You'll be
dude.
jacking the bitches and slapping
Slapping
the
on the
That's
hose. Yeah, that's what he would
that's
have wanted back
honestly an
then. That's
awesome
what he would
way
have wanted
to
you to
honor
do.
him, honestly.
No.
That is good, because then not only that, you have something that you can have forever, and just say, and like, if you ever have kids or whatever, family members, somebody,
You could show them and
you
tell
could
them
show them
why
and
you
tell them
did
the whole
it.
story about it.
Or you can
You
go
can
bring it
pass
to
it down
bring it
too.
to car shows or something, and then fucking
Yeah.
Tell the
people
whole story
so,
about it.
to be like, oh, why do you have this car? Why'd you do it the way you did? Why'd you put this into it? Whatever.
I know. I think it's an amazing story, and I'm a car enthusiast myself. You know, like I'd
I'm
want to
pretty sure
hear the
most
whole thing.
guys
You know,
are.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Car accidents are rough, man. I had one friend who died in a car accident.
Porsches are a pain in
Years.
the ass, and
Yeah,
they're also
Porsche is a
expensive to
pain in the
fix.
ass.
I don't know
I used
shit
to have a
about
Expensive
them.
as fuck.
I used to have a Porsche fucking what are they called? Clayman.
Boxer or what? Are they Cayman?
The Clayman, yeah.
The
And
Clayman.
I fucking or whatever the fuck they're called. I fucking broke that engine
Cayman.
on that motherfucker, but just because they can't handle a heavy foot. I was banging gears on that motherfucker, and then that shit broke.
Oh,
I
Don
was just
Like,
like, all
King.
right, yeah,
this
I'm
is
gonna go ahead and return.
bullshit.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and return this motherfucker. I went and put it back in the auctions and shit with a broken engine. Fucking it broke out even.
There's fucking water
That's
all
pretty funny.
over the fucking
I
bay,
broke
a
even
hole
on
in
it. I
the.
don't care. Someone else found more value in it than I did, so I was like, fuck it.
That is true. He makes a valid point. The Cayman is a commuter car, not a race car.
Yeah,
That is a very
it's a
true.
fucking SUV, bro. It's a.
Well,
No,
here,
it's not.
listen out. I'm a
Alright,
Oh, I'm
fucking
thinking of the
teen.
Cayenne.
no,
I'm a
it's not.
fucking teenager in a Porsche. What do you think I'm gonna be doing?
Here, this is the little fucking
My
shit
shirt
box.
is like, I really need to like get my
I thought about
wardrobe for
getting
these
a Cayman
streams.
just to have a Porsche, but then they're
Dude,
too
you fucking
expensive.
insane, dude. You need to be able to get a real car first.
No, no, because you can get it for really
Get
cheap on
yourself a
Walmart.
a '99 Toyota Corolla, and you'll
Huh?
have it until you're 40.
It's gonna be bulletproof? Hell fucking yeah. Just be
Say
prepared for the fucking apocalypse, dude, 'cause there's some crazy people. Better safe than sorry.
say 99 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, you'll have that thing to your 40s, bro.
I'm either gonna get like a little Japanese car for like 4 or 5 grand, or I'm gonna save up and get like 7 or 8 grand and put it down for a 10 grand like
Told
Tacoma
you,
or
I
something.
could have sold you my
4Runner.
Canyon, but
It
no.
said, hey, it had 200,000 miles. What do you think I am retarded?
I sold it to somebody for $1,600, bro.
I wouldn't even pay a grand for it.
It was worth
200,000 miles.
$1,000.
Yeah,
Knowing the
200,000 miles in
knowledge
a
of
truck. Wait. 200,000 miles in a truck.
203. Original
Okay,
motor and transmission.
listen.
Four?
It was a
Most
four
trucks
cylinder.
don't get past 170,000 miles. So making it to 203,000 miles is
And
lucky.
still driving every day.
Yeah,
Wait,
making
what
it
do
to
you
204 is gonna be a pain in the ass. I'll
what
tell
is
you.
it?
It was an '06 Canyon, four
Okay.
cylinder, manual,
Using
rear wheel
Canyon.
drive.
Buy your BMW. I'm broke right now, Wix. I'm not. We're actually the funny thing is Wix doesn't live that far from me. He's only like a half hour from me.
BMWs are a pain in the ass. I have a
Yeah, they're
BMW
Fuck
in
super
the
that.
annoying.
back that I have not been able to get the fucking starter out just because I have to take out the whole top engine off, like just to be able to get to the starter at the bottom.
Top end of it.
Yeah, the top end of it.
Everything. Yeah. Fuck that. But yeah, no. BMWs are fucking. They're so expensive to fix.
They're great and all if you got like someone that will work on them for you, but if you have
They're
to
easy.
work on them yourself, like no.
And you have to get special tools and shit too, and that's a pain in
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
ass.
it becomes very expensive.
Holy shit. Okay, boys. I'm tired.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I'm ready for bed.
I'm not. I'm ready to keep going, baby. I'm gonna play some video games.
Oh,
I guess.
you can play Supercross and learn more about it.
Tell
I
B
might.
he smells. Who's B? B, you
Me.
smell.
Me.
You,
B, you
That's my
smell
buddy.
like cheese and
My buddy Joe.
feet.
He's the
you smell
homie.
like cheese between the nuts. I love it.
Mm. You spelled my name wrong, Joe. You're a piece of shit. Can't even spell my name right. I thought you were a real homie. Jeez.
Brendan.
Jeez.
Brendan.
Follow us on all social media platforms, including Facebook, PDHM.Gaming, PDHM.Gaming, Twitter at PDHM_Gaming, on Instagram, PDHM.Gaming. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, not sponsor our sponsors. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Kiwi Boy Mods, GG Bracelets, Boss Boxes, Rogue Energy, Fatal Grips, Eminence Reps. Get your merch at pdhm-na.com.
Night
All right,
night,
guys.
everybody.
Peace.